innocent. Look how
Lex,
she
fix your
just
face. Fix your face.
Look, wait, it's the fix your face part, baby. Oh,
she come
yeah.
on here. What we about to get into, ma'am? You.
Mm-hmm.
What did I do? Tell me what I did? Run it.
Oh,
We
child, Lord Jesus, did you read your book?
I read it. I read it. I read it.
Oh,
And
oh,
what had happened was,
That's yes.
yeah.
That's how we start telling them stories. What had happened was,
and the fact that we haven't even
Yeah.
mentioned a book, but we already it's the fact that the book wasn't even mentioned. But ma'am,
You know what? I mean, I like to thank my mama for giving me birth. I want to thank Jesus Christ. I mean, like, I don't know what y'all want me to say. Like,
listen, and I thank them too, because let me tell you, you have no idea.
let me
Oh, I'm so
say,
happy.
Lord, we thank you for her mind. That
Hmm.
the thoughts, the creativity that you created and that you placed in her, the gifts, we thank you.
Mm.
ain't that what the
In
kids say?
Jesus' name,
Amen.
Amen.
Oh,
It
we
ain't
ain't
my
Amen.
even
fault. Go.
we ain't even introduced ourselves and we already
No. We done got right into okay. Let rewind. I'm sorry. Professionalism. Welcome to BDST with Toya. I am your host, Toya. Joining me today is Lex Between the Lines and the amazing Anna J. Woo!
Hey, y'all. So y'all came on here
Hello.
starting. Y'all came on here starting up, and I just got here. I don't know.
I wouldn't have said nothing had you not came on like this little host like Anna.
I'm what the what? Yes, yes, ma'am.
Girl, listen.
Where do
I'm
we
going to start from
start?
the top. Anna, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the types of books that you write?
Yeah. So my name is Anna J. Hey, y'all. Philly girl, born and raised. I write a little bit of everything. I don't have a particular genre that I write in. I just kind of let the pen tell me what's going to happen today. So you're going to get a little bit of everything. You're going to get a little messy drama. You're going to get some urban fiction. You're going to get an erotic thriller. You're going to get whatever what's going on in my head at the moment. I don't write in a box. And y'all not putting me in there. So yeah,
I heard
I'm busting out.
that.
Let me
Baby,
free me. So
baby. And I appreciate you not
yeah,
being in the box. I
yeah.
started with you. I was young. I was not supposed to be reading no daggone my
Y'all
woman,
still
his
there?
wife.
Okay. You have no clue how many times I've heard that over the years. I don't think I had any business writing my woman his wife when I wrote it. So
How old were
yeah.
you when you wrote it?
I started writing it when I was 22, and I actually turned it in for publication at 24. I am 48 now. So yeah.
Oh my goodness.
How the heck you know
Yeah.
about that kind of drama at 22?
Baby.
You know what had happened was
Because that's one of my questions. Where did the idea
so
come from?
here's the thing. I've always been an avid reader. I've always been an avid reader. And what I noticed early on was that the books that I wanted to read weren't written. And if I wanted the drama, if I wanted the mouth drop, if I wanted the oh my god, did she just say that? I had to write it because wasn't nobody else doing it. Not that there weren't
Right.
great books in it back in the day, because we had our Omar Tyree, we had Sister
Mm-hmm.
Soldier, we had Treasure Blue, we had Kawan. So it's not like it wasn't there, but it wasn't written the way I wrote it. So I kind of had to step up to the plate, if you will, and make it happen.
That's true.
Yeah.
I
So
get
that's
I
that's how it started. Yeah.
Ooh, that book was extremely messy, and I loved every second of it. Um, Anytime someone tells me that they read any form of urban fiction or something is messy, I immediately recommend that book, which was how Lex got a hold of that book. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Have you heard of Anna J?" She was like, "Mm-mm." I said, "Oh no, 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 no! You need to read her book."
No, let me tell you. She said, I got a book that I think you and your wife could read together. So I was like, okay. And then it said, my woman, his wife. So I was like, okay, this sounds like
Mm-hmm.
a lady about to get taken. I mean, from her husband, and she finna switch to the. So I'm thinking, okay, me and my wife. So I started reading it before my wife don't really read anyway. So I probably would have been reading it to her, just telling her about it. Page one. I
Okay.
Amen.
said, wait, what? Wait, what? What character is? Wait, what? I was so confused, and I read it again.
Mm-hmm.
I said, oh,
Yeah.
wait. How am I supposed to read? My wife already be thinking. Well, she don't think I'm innocent or nothing like that. But the extent of the stuff that I be reading, she just be like, "You be reading them nasty books," but she don't know the extent of the nasty. This,
Imagine me and my wife years later, and she was like, "Oh wait, you the one that wrote that?" I was like, "Oh." So what had happened was, um, I like to think that I do a fairly great job at bringing people in from the first page.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't. Because I know for me, as a reader, you don't have but too many pages before I put that thing down.
mm-hmm.
Right.
So so I like to think that if I catch you immediately, you ain't going nowhere until I let you go. You stuck with me. So yeah.
You ain't turn me loose,
Hmm.
cause
I ain't fitting to either. Tell wife
where
yesterday,
Oh,
you
hey,
where did these
yes.
characters come from? Like, how did you create these characters? Are they based on people you like know, or are these characters just kind of formed themselves in your head?
So when I first started writing My Woman, His Wife, I knew that Monica was a mess, right? Monica was a whole mess. Um, I didn't want it to be the typical guy meets girl, brings girl home, they have a threesome, you know. Monica had her
mm-hmm.
own motive. She was the one to look out for. You didn't know that initially. You know what I mean? She was the one to look out for. So it was kind of like you brought this lady home and you had no clue that at the extent that she would go to ruin your home. This woman was wild. Did y'all meet Monica? Like this,
Baby, Monica
I
was
sit
something
back some days to
else.
myself. Yeah, I
But you
sit
know the
back some days
killing
to myself.
part.
Like, where did she come from?
My wife name is Monica.
Oh man. Oh man. Listen, Monica is just one of those characters that just won't let you rest. And when you hear authors say that the characters talk to you, that's a real thing. I actually wrote Monica again in a book called The Serial Wife. And she's still with the shenanigans. You know what I mean? She was just I wanted her to be so diabolical that any man that read that book that thought that they was gonna bring this woman home, you thought three times about it. Not twice, thrice. Like I don't think I want to do that. Because they always want the threesome until they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I don't think anybody should be having a threesome with somebody who was stealing drawers and painting murals on the wall. Cause what?
Cause
She
where did
literally
they go?
a cautionary tale. She is literally a cautionary tale.
That's
Yes.
all I write. That's all I write is cautionary tales. I want you to take something from everything that I write, regardless of what this situation is. You got to take something from it. And Monica was the reminder to cherish your vows or not, and see what happens.
I can, you know what? And so that book, I'm trying to remember. That book was based in Philly as well.
Yep. So it was based in Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
and then the aftermath was more. You learned more about Monica because after I wrote My Woman, His Wife, people was like, "Yo, where the hell did this girl come from?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what happened to her? Like, who hurt you, sis? you know?" So I had to give you the backstory because people like that don't just show up one day. That's been in the
Right.
making. So I wrote the aftermath and I kind of gave you like her childhood, kind
Mm-hmm.
of how she had to learn to fend for herself pretty much. And
Yeah.
for Monica, it was never a love thing. It was like, I want that, let me go get it. And I would say loosely, very loosely, y'all. She has, because I'm a Virgo myself. So what I typically do with my characters, I assign them a zodiac. I create a character profile. I assign them a zodiac, and I typically have them act the opposite of what people think the zodiac should act like. So
Huh.
Monica is my Virgo, 827, and she's kind of like, if I had that kind of crazy spirit, that's who I would be if I had it in me, but I don't. So yeah, I made her act the total opposite. So she was kind of like the man, what a man would typically do, we think.
Yes.
Yeah. Surprise,
I
y'all.
never.
Hi. Yeah.
Food for
So
thought.
yeah, I wrote the book.
we baby, we gonna get to the hunt in a minute because I have a question
Mhm.
about somebody being an Aries. We'll get to that in a
Okay.
minute
Hmm.
because I feel like one of her characters is an Aries like me, but you know, we'll get
What a
to
nice Sagittarius character said.
Ain't none. It ain't none. No. And the craziest part is, when I created James, I made him a Leo, of course, the king of the jungle. He wasn't that kingly. He let this woman come in there and tear his house up. So I gave everybody the opposite traits of what they should be. And then you
Oh
got
wow.
Jasmine, who was his wife, who was our
Mm-hmm.
Aries, our bossy one. You know what I mean? She was the only one that was true to her sign. And I had a good time with them. I was just thinking, like, what else could this woman do? Like, how could she take this to the top? And then once she topped that, how can she top it again? That was my whole mindset while I was writing that series. If I can make that bad, how can this be worse?
Because how did you keep up with those storylines? I said Monica has so much going. It was like not only that, because when you read stories like this, you may see it centered around like just that one couple. But Monica
Mhm.
had stuff going on with the governor, the mayor, then the police officer that pulled her off, and then
Yes.
it cross connected with. Like it was just so many different things, and then she see the police officer again with another situation, but something happened with his
Yeah,
wife.
when she,
Yes.
mhm.
How did
Cause
you keep up
she
with?
was one of those untouchable people. She was just kind of like who you going to check? Me? Impossible. No way. Check who? Your
What
mama?
kind of
Like, cause it ain't
research
me.
goes into that? Like,
I don't know
well, at
that
least back
research.
then,
I
what
don't know
kind of
that.
research went into that?
I don't know that any research did. To be honest with you, we were just young and wild. When I was in my 20s, I was outside, baby. Okay, so this little escapades and sexcapades and whatever other kind of page we had went into the book. We was living. We was living.
Oh,
So
baby, I am here for
I ain't mad
it
at you.
yeah,
at all. At
yeah.
all
Now
what my
I
stay
done
in the
simmered
house
down a little
has.
bit. I simmered down a little bit since then. But I had a great time with Monica, and also because I knew that I've never read a character like her. I've never, not even to this day,
Amber.
have I read a
No.
character like her.
Mm-mm.
So
Mm-mm.
it was one of those things where I knew that I wanted her to be somebody that would be unforgetful.
Oh, she
And
definitely
here we
is.
are, 24 years later, and it's like, yeah, you still wild, huh? Yeah, I'm still wild. And every so often, she peeks a little head out, like, Anna, what you working on? So we'll see. I want to say 2013, between 11 and 13. I got the opportunity to do a short story, and Monica was like, "Oh, I'm coming back outside," and I said, "Are you now? What had happened? What we finna do?" The serial wife came about, and she was trying to be regular, and she don't have a regular bone in her, unfortunately. So she's one of those kind of characters where once you provoke her, you woke a sleeping beast pretty much. I was minding my business, and then here you come pulling on my coattails. Now I'm up. Let's go.
Did you
That's
really
who
have
she
to
is.
provoke her though? Did you
No.
really have to provoke her?
Not early on, not early on. But by the time we got to the serial wife, she was older. She was older. She had lived a little bit. You know what I mean? She
Okay.
was really looking for love. And then people started acting up. So she was like, "Oh, y'all forgot who I was, huh? Let me show you right fast. Hold on. Be right back." So yeah. That's
That
my
was the
Now I
favorite
got
serial
book.
another
one.
book. Yes, the serial.
It's called
Look,
The
you see
Serial
me.
Wife. Yeah,
I got another book. I
yeah.
need to. Yeah, you wrote a
Now
book.
y'all thought she acted up, but she really acted up in that one. But yeah.
Wait, not me on the podcast going to find the book and add it to my cart because I'm getting ready to
Hmm.
order it right now.
Yes.
It was the serial wife.
Hmm.
Listen,
Got it.
so with books like that, with
Hmm.
My Woman, His Wife, you also wrote a book called When Good Wives Go Bad.
Exposed when good wives go bad. Hmm.
Yes, yes. With books like that, how did we get to The Hunt? I know you said you wasn't gonna stay in no box, but
Y'all still there?
where did The
That
Hunt?
okay.
Yes,
Oh, my guy Dylan. I love me some him. I really do.
it's Dylan the
Um,
Aries.
do you want Dylan to be an Aries?
No.
I no, I actually made Dylan a Gemini. Actually, The Hunt. So I started reading thriller maybe like 3 years ago, 2 3 years ago. My first introduction to thriller was Never Lie by Frida McFadden. Mouth was open. I said, wait a minute, this is what people writing. And then I was thinking to myself, like, well, where are the black girls that's writing this? Like, where I know we out here, we got to be out here doing it, you know.
Mhm.
And I end up reading Octavia Grant, and I said, oh, here we go. This
Hmm.
here we are. You know what I mean? And I said to myself, I said, every thriller, not every thriller, but most of the thrillers that I've read, especially by like my Freedom McFadden's, my Kirsten Moglen's, Geneva Roses, they all kind of sound the same. And I couldn't really identify with those people, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
I wanted a character that people could identify with. I wanted somebody that sounded like me. I wanted somebody that looked like me. I wanted somebody from where I was from. And I wanted somebody that had a secret that he really, really couldn't tell anybody. And it be a secret that was hereditary. So he didn't, his apple was still on the tree. He didn't just become crazy one day. His apple was still on the tree. And Dylan Hunt was born. I love him. He's next to Monica, like they kind of share the number one spot. He's one of my favorite people in the world. And I was hoping that people would be open to receiving him because he's not your typical SK.
True.
Yeah.
True. Okay, so I have a question real fast before Lex jumps in. I just real quick because I could tell by the look on her face she got a question. Was Dylan telling his story from inside the ground under the dirt? Because the way the book ended, I'm just like, where was he? Okay.
I can't say.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to be so tame over here.
No, don't be tame. Don't be tame at all.
Dylan was telling his story the way it needed to be told. That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it.
Anna.
So
Yes.
possibly in the dirt, but maybe not in the dirt, because because way it ended.
Okay. So the way it so when I first started writing it, it wasn't my intention to write um any other. I was going to write a thriller, a
Hmm.
singular.
It's a series.
But then by the time I got done, I was like, oh. And then people was like, well, wait a minute. But what about this and what about that? And now we have a copycat. Who was that? Is it his sister? Is it his mom? Is it his dad? Is it somebody at the restaurant? Then I started writing something else because is you need to know who these other people are and where they came from. So now
Hmm.
we have a series. Uh, I'm still not going to say whether he was writing it from the grave. Just know he told his story well, by the way,
Very
and
well.
it would behoove you to remember the details because yeah, there's more coming.
Oh my God, it's gonna be like a crossover where we got to go back and look at the details of this book, and it's gonna overlap.
Um, so when I typically when I write a sequel, I write a continuation. We not fitting to recap. This is not. We not on Netflix. We not recapping the first. We not recapping the first season. We gonna keep this story going. We gonna keep moving that way. So I'm not gonna say it's an overlap, but the characters do follow into the next books. So
Okay.
you'll get to learn more about Officer Morgan, for example. She was the one that they boarded, and if you remember when they was really trying to catch him, they was like, well, we need somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
they called her. So you'll learn more of her story, and how it all ties in together. You'll learn that some of the people that you met along the way are not who you thought they were. So
From the
um,
officer
you have
squad, or from
from the officer squad from that restaurant. You'll quickly learn like, oh, I thought no, mm-mm.
Because I had questions about the lady that they brought in, honey. Because to her and her husband,
Officer
when it
Morgan and
was
her husband.
yes, yes, I
Yeah,
was
you
like,
sometimes you take one for the team. They said, right?
yes, and it threw me
Yeah.
off. I said, y'all just okay, y'all. We just gonna hop
I
in the
mean,
bed
but
and
how many crooked cops do we know? You know, not that
that's
she
true.
was crooked in a bad way, but you
mm-hmm.
know sometimes you got to go above and beyond to get the
And do what you
prize.
gotta do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was thankfully they had that understanding.
And they
So
had incentives to go with the
yeah, yeah.
Yes, Lex, to go with.
You really put your fingers and typed it. when the when the friend came in and she slid off, I said, "This lady really." I ain't never read no stuff like I can literally say in each book that I have read of yours, it's always like I ain't never read no shit like this. Like what? But I did want to ask. I remember you said there was a in the opening that there was a part where I don't know if you had a nightmare and your wife had to kind of walk you through it, or and
Yes,
which part. I was like,
baby.
I wonder because there were just so many parts
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. First of
It was
all,
a lot of parts.
it read like a movie, so I was laying up. It was like I could vividly see like what was going, like it really
Oh, I love that for
read.
y'all. That's always
Mm-hmm.
my hope when I'm writing a book that you can see it how I see it, because it's playing like a movie for me too.
Yes.
So, like and I'm just gonna tell you, like I'm not an outliner. I don't have an outline. I don't know these people. I'm getting to learn them as I'm writing. So I didn't know who Dylan was initially. He just kept showing up one day. So I'm like, oh, you want to tell me your story? Let's go. Who are you? You know what I mean?
Right.
So as I was writing him and I started writing these other people, I knew that it was going to take a special kind of person to bring him down, and I knew that he was multi-layered. A lot of the stuff that you happened, which where you got the three epilogues at the end with his mom and his dad talking and all of that,
Hmm.
because I felt like you needed to know his background, where he came from, and he wasn't innocent. Like I said, the apple was still on the tree. The scene that got me the most. Now keep in mind, like I'm not a thriller writer, well I am now, but I wasn't prior, and I didn't know how far I could take it. I didn't know what was the limit. Because if I can push it always to the ceiling, I'm going to break the ceiling just a little bit so I can get through. Because you're holding me up, like let me through here. The part that got me the most was the part when officer no, the detective um what is her name? I'm sorry. Butler
Heather.
was
Oh, Butler.
having
Mm-hmm.
Heather Butler. Yeah, so she was having the nightmare when she was tied to the bed in the red and the badge was pinned to her skin,
Mm.
and the bodies were sitting on the wall with no heads, and the heads were hanging, and the eyes were still moving, and it was blood dripping, baby. And I wrote that scene, and I want to say I'm a night writer. I'm definitely like 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. kind of writer. And I'm like, oh, let me go to sleep because I got to get up for work in the morning. And baby, the way I closed my eyes and Dylan was over me with that knife. No, I literally jumped out because the scene was playing back in the head. Only it wasn't Heather Butler laying in the bed. It was me
It was
with the badge in my chest. And yeah, and I jumped up. I mean, I jumped up and I'm hitting the bed like, wait, wake up for a second. Like, wake up for a second. She was irked. She said, girl, I know damn well you ain't waking me up for something that you wrote.
that you wrote.
I said, but I think it's somebody in the house. Like, if I think it's somebody, like, where is my phone? Because I think it's a now. Girl, I'm up here pulling out firearms. I said, I think somebody came in. She said, ain't nobody came in here. Stop writing that creepy ish, is what she said. Take your behind to sleep. So yeah, a lot of scenes got me like that though, because I'm not this was my first time writing something like that. So I had to really like step outside of the norm of what I typically write to bring
Hmm.
it to life. And I wanted it to be an experience like no like I promise you, I read a lot. I think I read like almost 300 books last year. What I wrote in The Hunt has never been written anywhere. Never. And I like to be able to bring that kind of thing to the table. When you pick up an Anna J book, it's an experience like you've never had before. I
Definitely.
at
Yeah.
least I want to say I'm a I'm out here,
you
that's what
you
I want to
you
say.
As
create
you
it's
should.
almost like you're creating new genres within the thriller, like, or new tiers. Does this sound, did you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
No, I
Hmm.
do, because I wanted to know what the rules were when I started writing thriller. I'm like, okay, so what are the rules? Like, what? Because there's a formula to writing thriller. There's a formula to writing romance. There's a formula to writing urban fiction that you're supposed to follow. I only want to know the rules so I can break every last one of them. Like, tell me how I'm supposed to be doing this, so that way I can ignore everything you just said and do what I want to do. Tell me what I'm supposed to have in a book. That's my goal every time. So you can tell me what the rules are, and I'm like, girl, bye. I ain't fitting to follow that. Like, we
I
gonna
want
make
you to
this my
keep
own
breaking
thing.
them. Hmm.
Every time. Every time.
Yeah.
And I love that about you as an author because, yes, you're absolutely right. Anytime I've read your books, I don't, I can't find that type of book
Mm-mm.
anywhere
Most of the things I
else.
create is because there's a void. That's just about anything I create is because there's a void. When I started, I love to color. I'm a coloring book fanatic. I have stacks of them. And I was saying to myself, like, dang, I can't find no fat girl coloring book. Not one that made sense. So I had to make it. I couldn't find the thriller that gave what I needed it to give. There wasn't a black male character that was out here acting crazy the way Dylan was. I had to create it. When I wrote My Woman, His Wife, there wasn't a girl that was disrupting marriages like her. So I like to think that a lot of the things that I make is because I can't find what I need. So I got to make it so that I can have it.
I love that.
The Hunt was like, my wife watches like First 48 and
Hmm.
Snapped and the
Hmm.
FBI. She watches shows and stuff like that. And we of course we're in the same bed, so I'll be reading while she's watching it and stuff. So imagine having that playing while I'm reading. I was up all god dang on night. I was like kind of like you, but it was just like I was kind of scared to go to sleep. But during the time that I read that book, I was up for a couple of days cause and living off a Red Bull.
Yeah, and it catches you right from the start because it's like you thinking like, oh, this
Yes.
cute. They on a date. She going home with a stranger. Okay, and then
It
there's
was
this harp on the floor
literally
that she completely ignored this harp. Like,
a cautionary tale. It was like, and it was like an episode of Criminal Minds, a cautionary, because it was like this shit can happen in real life, and I think that's what got me the
Yes.
most. That it was like this could really like you can go out and meet a guy and think and you can go home with them on because I ain't gonna lie, I went home with my wife on the first night and was drunk and didn't even know who she was the next day. And I'm just reading this book like, damn, I could have
yeah,
been in the ground if she was a Dylan Hunt. Like if she was a
and
Dylan.
but he was such a gentleman. Like he finished her off. He made sure it was complete. At least he made sure it was
Anna,
complete.
Anna,
Yes,
Anna,
yes, ma'am. He
please.
was he was a
He finished the
gentleman.
job.
He finished what he came there to do. Okay,
She went happy. At least she went happy
Yes.
and she could.
She went there done,
almost.
finished.
Yeah, finished.
That was another thing. The fact that he really seen himself as doing the world a favor or doing
Yeah,
like he was a gift because he
I mean, cause you alone anyway. Ain't nobody looking for you.
what was he diagnosed? What was the diagnosis? Was
I
there
don't. You know
was
what? I don't even think I ever gave him one. I'm trying to. I don't think I ever gave him an actual factual diagnosis. Because I feel like people like that. What would you put him in? What diagnosis could you give a person like that? He was paranoid. That's for sure. He had anxiety, but he was also like I don't want to say he was schizophrenic, but he had this. He had that. He needed perfection. Everything with him had to be like a OCD kind of thing. Like I would have put you on this table, but people got to eat here, so I ain't gonna do it. However, I'll take you to the basement, chop you up in little pieces, put you in the freezer paper, stick you out in the trash with the old stuff. Like he just had a, it was a method to his madness for the most part. Dylan was his own thing.
And
They
then
would
to
And
study him for years to figure out who he was.
find out toward I like how in the book we found out like the mama and daddy wasn't as perfect because
No,
I was just
because
like your
yeah, like what
parents
happened to his grandparents? Where they at?
were
Oh, they eating
right.
meatballs. Right, you ain't never had a steak like this. Yeah, yeah. They wonder why people keep coming to the restaurant. But the
Ooh.
craziest part about it is I wanted when I because that wasn't initial either when I first wrote the book. Like I was done writing it, and Dylan's mom and dad was like, "Oh, so we ain't got nothing. Well, you just gonna leave us out?" And I said, "Oh, wait, hold on. I want to talk too. Let's go." And I felt mostly for his mom because imagine praying for a thing, right? Imagine praying for a thing and you get it before the time you're supposed to have it, because the way life is set up, was already written. We just showing up to the party. God already laid that out. We just showing up to the party.
Mhm.
We're late. Okay,
hmm
we're late to the party. And imagine getting a thing that you were not equipped to handle yet. I want this now, and God like, I don't think you should have it now. No, but I want it now. All right, go ahead. See how they work out for you. And your son is a serial killer. And then you try it again, and you got a fire starter because that man had said you wasn't ready for this just yet. This is about, I wanted people to understand that when you pray for things, it don't always show up the way you're supposed that you think it's going to show up. And
Mhm.
you have to be equipped to handle the thing that you asked for. So when you try to move before the eight ball, yeah, you got fire starters and serial killers that you birthed. You were the mom of the serial killer, babe. You're welcome. So,
goddamn.
you just,
And
yeah. And
it
even with
started so early.
his dad couldn't get no rest. His dad could not get rest
That
because he
poor
was up
man.
worried.
Right.
Yeah. And all this time, his mom thinking like, "Oh, he just like to watch the news." No, baby, I'm looking for my kid. I'm
And
looking
he
to see
turned
if
on
my
the news
son.
talking about get stuff, let's go. We gotta go. We gotta move.
We
I ain't
gotta
gonna
move
lie.
on.
I thought it
And
was a setup at first, y'all. When the dad, I said, "Girl, don't go by the door by yourself," and then you ain't tell nobody where you was going. Because at first, in my mind, because I'm like, there is no way you don't know your kid. There is no
oh, you
way
know.
that
Oh, you know.
Mhm.
or you have like a you know you have that intuition and stuff. So when it was like, okay, this tip came through and then it turned out to be, I was like, girl, they gonna kill your ass. You go over there because the family has got to be in on it because
Yes.
they gonna do, you flip that switch. And I was just
But
like,
imagine having to
yo,
tell somebody to kill your child though. Imagine, because you can't do it.
not capture
So
Mm.
imagine you
him and
having
put
to
him
give
in.
the imagine having to give the okay. Like if you run across Dylan, by the way, officer ma'am, if you run across him, take him clean up out of here. When you catch him, make sure he's a done bun.
Not put him
Imagine
in
having to
jail.
be the parent. No, take him out because jail ain't gonna do it. You gotta take him out. You gotta kill him. Imagine having to be the parent to have to say it. Imagine that. I couldn't even imagine me holding a baby in my belly for almost 10 months and then having to tell somebody when you see my child headshot, you know?
That part.
I was not expecting that. I just, cause you know how sometimes it's those parents out there that take up for the kids and they
Mm-hmm.
uphold them in their wrong. And I
Mm-hmm.
just knew that it was gonna be like one of those type of situations. Like, I'm gonna stick to my son to the end. So let me cut this off right here. Because the way they found him, that the way you did that, that intricate small little detail, and to think that had he been smart enough, or maybe he was thinking that I'm just above everybody and nobody ain't going, you should have switched out that and you would have never, he wouldn't have been not that fat, like you, like
Mm-hmm.
what, that's small England, ain't that
Little teeny
crazy?
tiny.
That was
Yep.
crazy how you did that.
And I don't know. Again, it was just me. It was just me writing the book. You know what I mean? Because again, I don't know when I'm writing. I have no clue what's going to happen down the street until I get down the street. I got to get down the street first so I can see what's going on down there. Like I really don't know. So I was saying to myself when they was at the restaurant, I said, you know what? Heather Butler is not in his age range. We need somebody else because she's too old. She's seasoned. You know what I
That's
mean?
true. Yeah.
She was seasoned. So I was like, who else can we bring in here? And of course, we got our girl Morgan. This is her specialty. This is her. She wants to save the teens. This is her. This is her thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, okay, we're going to grab her right fast because she looks good. She's going to be what Dylan wants because Dylan has a type. You got
Mm-hmm.
to be a stallion. You got to be dark chocolate. You got to have that
You got to
good
have it.
natural hair.
Baby, I
You
love
got
that
to,
dark
yeah,
chocolate part, honey. Yes. Mm-hmm.
yeah, you got to have it. And that was another thing that I decided when I was a writer because a lot of the books that I used to read, all the characters were light. Every last one of them. Light skin, pretty eyes, hair down to the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. I said, baby,
Mm-hmm.
we ain't gonna forget that black don't crack. Well, that's what we ain't gonna do. So I'm making my business when I'm writing characters to make sure that they are brown, that we are represented.
I
So
know that's right.
he had a type. He had a type. And I in my head I can hear that woman's heels clicking when they was walking down that alleyway. You understand what I mean? And then she got to the crib and she ain't waste no time. She was already on the floor. She ain't waste no time. And it's the things in lust that we ignore. Cause I know if I walk into somebody's home and there's a chair set up with a tarp on it, I don't know. I don't know what I will be thinking. I don't know if I'm sticking around for that. But she probably just thought they was gonna be playing with some chocolate or something, not knowing what was gonna happen was gonna happen.
I'm gonna tell you right
But
Mm-mm.
now,
now
I
you
got to
know.
do an about face because there ain't nothing that I need to do with a tarp. If you can't get that chocolate licked off where you need to get it licked off without it hitting your carpet, I got to go.
I mean, I don't know. I don't.
It
You
was a
might be able to lay
little.
that thing. You might be able to lay that tarp down. I don't know. But
Put a blanket down or something to catch it. Not no tarp.
I mean, we might want to slip and slide. I don't know. It might make for an interesting evening. I don't know.
And
But
have certain situations, some baby oil, and put it down on the tarp.
yeah.
I can't
Put the
handle
yeah.
it.
Leave the shoes on. You know what I mean? Don't take them shoes off. Leave them shoes on. So you just never know. But I am glad that he was well received because like I said, I know when I wrote it, I hadn't read anything like it. So I said, okay, I'm about to get a world something different. Even the cover of the book at the last minute, I decided to add that it was an erotic thriller because when I started letting my other author friends read it, they said, "Girl, I thought this was a damn romance." I said, "Oh, why?" And she said, "Because of the cover." I said, "Oh," but when I looked at the cover, I saw the characters in the book. I saw Dylan. I'm not going to tell you who I think the girl is. I'm going to let people speculate there for themselves. But that's what I saw when I saw it, and I said, "Oh, I need to let people know that this is a thriller," because imagine not knowing. Imagine skipping that prelude. Imagine skipping that first. Imagine skipping the warning, Lex,
Cause I,
and go
cause I go
right.
straight to page one of the meat of the book to get it started. And you know what? I go into books blind, and I ain't gonna lie. I went into this book blind, and just off of like the hunt, and I did see like a description that said it was like a serial killer and a cop looking for him. So of course I go into books blind. So in my mind, I'm thinking, so the cop gonna fall in love with the serial killer? Like how this about to play out? Like is he gonna do something to redeem himself, or he killing for a reason? And then as I read the warnings and stuff, I was like, well then how the hell she gonna what's going on? Like how she gonna fall in love if he that crazy? And the warnings, and then there was another warning, but after all of these warnings, like, hey, if you turn this page, this is. And so as I started, and then as
It's
I started
going
reading it,
down. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, who gonna fall in love with this motherfucker? Like,
Baby, listen. And the craziest, and that was the thing, like when I was writing, when I was putting it all together, I said, okay, I'm gonna put the warning on the back. I'm gonna put the warning on the back. So when people read, the prologue, the back of the book, they can see, like, okay, listen, this if this ain't your cup of tea, you might not even want to buy this one. Like you might want to skip this one. But then I know people don't always read the back of their books. I said, well, let me just go ahead and put it on the inside a couple dozen times. Like, hey sis, skipped all of it. And now I'm getting cursed out in the reviews. Well, I can't believe that well, you should have read the warning. The triggers is
I,
there for a reason.
I agree.
and
Because
after
So,
back in
I
the day we
read
ain't had
it,
no triggers.
I went back. I went back to read the warning again after I read it all. And that's when I seen when you said, because I was like, did I see that warning about her wife in the nightmare before? Because what?
That book gave me the creeps. Like it was just because I think a part of it was like I couldn't believe I wrote that. Like y'all should have seen me in church on Sundays, just praying like, Lord, please, just whatever this finna be. You know what I mean? Because I know I said I prayed about it, and I said I wanted to write thriller, and I told you I wanted a twist. I wanted you to give me something different, and you showed up. Jesus Hassan Christ. I know y'all ain't know how Jesus had the middle name is Hassan. I know y'all didn't know that, but yeah, he showed up and he showed out, and he told me like, all right, Anna, you gonna write these books, but. I just didn't know it was going to be that, and I'm very proud of it. I feel like for my first time writing something in this genre, I did my due diligence. It was a great contribution to the thriller world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What's
Now,
that look,
hopefully,
Lex?
people will take
Lex
heed. People will take
Lex
heed.
is a thriller lover, so please.
I'm just trying to see. I just want more of whatever this genre, like whatever this classification is.
Because
And
it's
I'm just
definitely not your typical thriller. It's not that. I'm not writing that. I'm not writing what you're getting from everybody else, just so you know.
And I love
So,
it's. I'm just kind of getting into thriller. That's what I told Toya on another when she interviewed me. Like, if you would have asked me like a couple months ago, like what was my favorite genre, it would be like dark romance, and then I have rom coms in between and stuff, and then a little paranormal. But thrillers have taken over, and then it's like when I
mhm.
got to yours, and I was like, just different from the thrillers that I've been reading.
It's different from the thrillers that you typically read. And that was my goal. Like, I read a lot of thrillers, a couple hundred probably. And I kept saying to myself, you're not writing that. Yours is not that. You're bringing something different. So I'm fitting to take thriller and spin it on his head. Where you're not going to ever, whatever you think the typical thing is for any genre. I don't care what I'm writing. Mary had a little lamb. Mary ain't gonna have them lambs gonna be on the block hustling. They're gonna be selling coke. Like it's not gonna be the same. You understand what I mean? It's not gonna be Mary ain't living on no farm.
If you
Okay,
had to
Mary trapping.
categorize like your genre or the subgenre of thriller, what would you call it?
Gosh, I don't know. I label The Hunt as an erotic thriller because that's what it was. It had some eroticism, but there was some, thriller suspense aspects. I don't know that I can't put me it ain't no box that can hold me, babe. I'm sorry. Like I don't know where to put myself. I'm just gonna show up where I show up at and you get there to get it. That's how it's gonna go.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
And appreciate it more than you know.
Yeah.
But okay, so let me ask you this question because you have a certain style and way of writing. So when you
Hmm.
are writing books with other authors, like you did Motives
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
was it Shakir, I
Shakura
think?
Rashan. Hmm.
Yeah. And then I believe there's a couple of other books that you have, like I believe Erotic Snapshots is with other
Hmm.
authors.
Hmm.
What is that process like in with writing with other authors?
Okay. So when I did Motives, it was like that's like an urban fiction. In my
Mm-hmm.
head is urban. And I knew that Shakur Rashan is an amazing writer, but he writes like BDSM type books. But I know that he can write anything also. Like he's another
Mm-hmm.
author that has the potential to write anything that he put his mind to. So when I was writing it, I was like, "Oh, do I feel like writing a whole book?" That was really my. Do I want to write this whole thing? And I was like, you know what? I don't. Let me call him and say, "Hey, don't you want to do this?" Now he's so amazing that I don't care what I call that man with. He like, you know what? I said, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. Well, what's the word count? Is this many words? All right, bye. And then next thing I know, I got an email. You understand what I mean? That's just the relationship that I have with him, which I absolutely love. So this was just me sharing the creativity. And I knew that if I wrote it to a certain point, he was
Hmm.
going to take that thing and he was down the street. He was going to run with it. That was the motivation with that. With Erotic Snapshots, which is a series of short stories,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted people that was not afraid to cross the line. I don't want anybody
Okay.
that's like, oh, we got to write in this bubble. Nope. Pull out all the stops. I don't care where it's at. Where are we doing it at? So we went from Mile High Club to the Burger King bathroom to showing you how to use popsicles and cucumbers at the supermarket. Let's go there. Yeah, I wrote a story in there. I wrote two stories in Erotic Snapshots. So the first one was called The Headhunter, and that young lady basically had a company. Whereas if you told her what you liked, she was dealing with a professional woman. If you told her what she liked, she went and headhunted and found it for you. So if you have a particular flavor that you like, you want to be put against the wall a certain way, whatever. She was like, all right, I got somebody that can do that. And then I also wrote a story called Supermarket Sweep. And there was a gentleman that actually worked at the market. And what he would do, which was, now that I'm thinking about it, is a little creepy, but depending on what you had in your what you had in your cart, he was like, "Oh, you like Honey Nut Cheerios, huh? Meet me in aisle 6. I'm gonna show you how to really use them."
What the
So,
hell is you about to do with
you
the
know,
Cheerios?
you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised when he got them popsicles and they went to the back. So, it depends. But then we had
You
authors
can
like
do some things
Zaria.
with some popsicles
Yeah, that showed you an interesting way to use a cucumber. You'll never look at fruit. You will never look at food the same. And then
or
we had
popsicle.
Aretha Temple or popsicles. We had Aretha Temple, and she gave us a whole adventure in a Burger King bathroom. Like, so I wanted people that was not afraid to write outside of the box, and they brought it. They came with it. So that's how erotic snapshots happen. Sit, and we sit. Yes. Yep.
Hold it.
I'm still on the Cheerios.
Well, I mean, you know, they might end up in some weird places. You got to be creative to get them out. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna
I'm,
say.
I'm just thinking about when I eat them and they drop in my shirt.
And you got the
Right. And that was a fun project because my whole thing was for people to, I would hope, that I would motivate them to take it to the next level. So whatever you thought was the most extreme thing, that's not it. Whatever you think is extreme, go 10 notches up. And then when you get there, go 10 more. Now we at extreme.
I love that for y'all that y'all have this group of people where you can push each other's boundaries. Like
It's
you can go
needed.
higher.
It's
Like
needed.
you can go
Hmm.
higher than that.
It's needed, and we could talk to each other and talk crazy to each other because I feel like by the time it gets to the public, we done already ran them in the hole so bad that by the time y'all say something, they already like, girl, Anna Jay done said that 15. You understand what I mean? Like, you got to be able to bounce off people. So
right.
I'm going to tell you, like, your character sounds flat. She don't look right. We don't even know what she looked like. How old is this lady? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on with her? The story's not adding up. And she was and then what happened? No, girl, there's a whole gap missing right here. We do all of that so that by the time y'all get it, we done already filled in all of the holes and you could just sit back and enjoy it. So it's important to have those kind of people.
Yes.
The hunt went through a whole think tank before it was published because I needed people to tell me as readers what's missing from this. And I'm gonna tell you, there's a young lady that's in my think tank. Her name is Chevy, and she said to me, she said, Anna, I really enjoyed the book. I loved it. She said, but there's one thing. I said, what was that? She said, well, you said that Dylan and his parents were from the islands. Why they sound American? I said, oh, you, okay, all right. You know what I mean? And I had to go back in. I actually had somebody else go back in, like, because she speaks patois. I don't speak
Hmm.
patois. And that's how the glossary got there, because I need these people to sound like they're from the islands.
That was what I wanted to ask you, but you just answered it. Like, did you speak?
Mhm.
Because I was like, where did she get this from?
No.
Like, okay, but they answered that
No,
question.
one of my bestest, when I tell you the love, I don't know what I would ever do if Diane wasn't here. Diane Remper, she's an amazing editor. She's an amazing friend. She's an amazing reader, and she speaks fluent patois. A lot of people may not know it because y'all don't hear her talk on the internet, but she got it. She got the accent. She got it all. And we were in the think tank, and when Chevy said it, I said, "Oh, Diane, I need you to come back with me. Let's walk through this book again, and let's change this to that, to that, to that." And I wanted people to know what this man was saying. That's how the glossary got there. It's not a typo. This is how they talk, and
It
it just brought it
is.
all together.
I don't
Yeah.
speak it. I have family from New York and family from Jamaica
Hmm.
because my dad is Jamaican. So when I was reading some of it, I'm like, oh, yeah,
Took you back home, right? Right.
a little bit, a little bit.
Hmm.
So, but y'all was like, oh, I've never seen this in any book ever for there to be a glossary for it. And that's what you're
Yeah.
talking about. And you've done all this with books, and then you have a big back coloring book.
Yeah. So, so yeah. So what had happened was, I wanted. I wanted a big back coloring book. I wanted a true big back activities coloring book. So I'm on Amazon, I'm on the Etsy, and I'm like, how come nobody has a big back coloring book? I didn't say I wanted a coloring book with pictures of pizza. I said I wanted a real fat girl, fat guy coloring book. Couldn't find it. I said, oh, let me pull out the pad, start drawing some things up. And we got volume 1 and volume 2. So yeah, because that's how it works. I don't know how I was selected to do this, but anything that I've ever made is because I couldn't find it. I'm an avid journaler. I have to because there's too many things in my head. I got to write it down. But I would notice when I would go into like TJ Maxx and Walgreens and places like that that sold notebooks,
Hmm.
we weren't on there, or we were. It still didn't look black enough. It still wasn't black enough for
Yeah.
me. So I had to come home and make it. That's how it all starts. Yep.
Do you see yourself writing any paranormal?
Um, gosh, and I'm going to say I don't know because I never thought that I would write thriller, and here I am. I never thought that I would write romance, but I'm working on something now for a project next year. So I don't know. I've just started reading paranormal. What is the young lady's name? Is it Natavia?
Oh
She wrote
goodness,
Abinea. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes. And
Baby, if I could
Brick,
just wake up and be a fairy, Jesus.
have you read any of her other like Deep or
N-
Brick?
No, so that was my first book that I read by her. And what actually the craziest part about it is, um, she posted a book on her Instagram last year called Cruella Hoodville or something like that. It was like a twist on the Cruella Deville story. And from the cover, I said, "Here's my money, thank you." And I got the book and I stuck it on the shelf. Right, it was a trophy. A lot of the books are trophies. And then I was on Instagram again because I kept saying I'm gonna go back and read it. I put it on my TBR and everything, but we know how that go. Never read the
Hmm.
book. And then I was on the gram one day and they was talking about this fairy. And I was like, hmm. And then I said, you know what? I'll let Kindle read it to me. And immediately I'm on the Google trying to figure out what prayer I got to pray to wake up as a fairy with that man so that I can experience that part. Cause I needed to know how I can be down with that. So I don't know if I'll write it. I don't know enough about it at the moment. But we'll see. We'll see. I like to stay in my lane. I like to do my little research, and if I can't do it justice, then I'm not going to do it. I would never, play down somebody's thing. So if I can't really come with it and give you that with a twist, because it's not going to be what you read, you got to know that. Whatever I write ain't going to be what you already read. If I can't give you that, then I probably won't. So we'll see.
Because we know you pay. You don't go in nobody else lane. You just pay for a new one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. I just start knocking down walls. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know.
Ooh. Well, so before we wrap up, can you tell us what you have coming soon? I know we have Copycat 2, or Copycat.
Ooh,
I'm looking.
child. All right. So what had happened? What had happened was the copycat is coming, but I was writing the copycat, and it was something about it that just wasn't doing what I needed it to do. So I set it down, and in the midst of that, Officer Morgan Johnson, who you met in the hunt,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
she was like, "All right, like, well, before you say that, I need you to say this, and before we get to that part, I need you to say this part." So I'm actually working on a prelude to the copycat that's going to drop first, and then the copycat will drop. But I actually have a whole series in mind for that I'm going to hopefully write. I have some collaborations coming down the pike next year. You'll see me in the places next year. I'll be at a couple of events, so I'll be outside. I'm doing Chocolate City. I think that's in April. Don't quote me on it, but I'll be at the Chocolate City Lit event. I'll also be at Pages in the City in New York in July. Um, yeah, so it's some stuff coming. There's some stuff coming. Yeah,
Ooh,
I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited you finna be
me too.
outside.
I'm fit to
girl.
come outside. Yeah, I haven't been outside in a while, so I'm fit to come out there. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited right now. My husband gonna be so mad because he gonna have to hand that card over. She gonna be well.
Yeah.
In New York, I have family out there. Oh, yes, we gonna take a trip.
I'm
Uh-uh.
trying to see,
Who?
is that around the time that I'm going to be in New York around April, around like spring break. I hope those
So
dates match
no,
up.
the no. So the Pages in the City event is July 26th, and I only remember it because I was panicking for a minute because my family reunion is that same weekend. But then I looked at the date and I was like, oh, okay, I can skip that day. So I'll be there for that. I want to say Chocolate City is in April. That's in DC. Yeah.
Okay.
In April. I'm going to miss it. Okay.
See, I can't. If I could, I would, but I'll be in Italy in May, and my husband's not gonna let that
And I know
happen.
that's right. But yeah, I got something. I'm just gonna say Zanaya is a character in my next book. Girl, that's I can't. That's it. That's all I can tell you. That when you read about Zanaya, if you think the hunt was something, just wait on it. Yeah, all
Oh,
of my author friends were unfriended. They was like, I don't even want to be friends with you no more because I can't believe you just did that. Then they came back. They came back. I was like, wait, come back, come back, come back, come back. So it's going to grab you from the beginning again, from the very first page. You're going to be like, what? And then you're going to be taken for a ride. But it's needed because it's going to set up the copycat. It's needed. So just
How you
remember, I
get
told you about a young lady named Zanaya. Just remember that.
I'm
now? This
so
all I'm going to
excited.
be thinking. Like, this is just going to be sitting. Like, what the hell we about to do, Zanaya? What we about to get into?
Yeah, because
Oh,
the name of I don't even really want. I mean, it's already on Amazon, the cover and everything. But Zanaya's story is another cautionary tale. It's one that needs to be told. I really want to educate the people on how crazy people are. Our predators live right in our neighborhoods. They live across the street. When you go out the door, he sit there on the porch and watch your child play all day, every day, and then one day she gone, and you don't know what happened to her. So I need
Wow.
people to be cognizant of their surroundings. Every story that I write has is something going on there. You just have to pick up the pieces. That's all. So remember I told you about Zanaya. So when you interview me again, we're gonna speak it into existence.
Uh huh.
yes,
You're gonna be
yes.
like, Anna, you mentioned Zanaya in the last one, and I'm be like, yeah. So what happened to her? Yep. Hmm. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Me
I'm
too.
so
Me
excited.
too. Yeah. And I'm glad to be writing again. I didn't write for like almost 8 years, so I'm glad to be back typing again.
So was
And
the
take it
hunt your
over.
first comeback? I mean, what was your
The
first?
Hunt was my first comeback. Yeah, so the last book I wrote was it was The Serial Wife was the last one. That was back in 2013. And then 2024 The Hunt came out.
Then you come back swinging like this.
Baby,
Yeah, cuz I'm
I
gonna
with
knock your block
gloves
off.
off.
Yeah. Gloves off. Yep. Play with somebody else. Yeah.
I'm so
Cuz I had to
happy you
remind
back.
myself who I was. If I wasn't always I lost my confidence. I don't know where. I don't know what happened to it. It just fell off one day. And then I was like, maybe the literary world needs something else. It took me a minute. It took me a minute, but yeah, and that's what I came back with.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah.
I do. I love it. Well, Anna, thank you so very much. This has been amazing. I have loved every
Oh,
second of this,
thank
honey, and
y'all.
I am looking forward to coming back and talking with you because you got things cooking, honey, and I'm going to be right there in the kitchen waiting with my plate and my Tupperware.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Y'all don't hear this dog growling at me from the sideline, right? Cause she keep coming back. Like, why you? Who you talking to? This is a puppy. Um, yeah. Hush. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
She
Don't
Oop.
these
talking
kids act
back.
that when you get on the phone? Stop and get out. So yeah, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for y'all. Y'all gonna love me for this. Like all I said, is Dylan is not the last of it. We'll just say that. That's just how it's gonna go.
We got a whole series coming.
I'm excited.
We do. We do.
I'm
I didn't even know
excited.
that, but now we know. Yes. But thank y'all. I'm so happy to be here. Thank y'all for the interview.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited
Tell
about
us where
it.
we can follow you on all across your socials.
Okay, so on Facebook is author Anna J. I think it's author Anna J also on Instagram, and Scribe It Philly is on TikTok. That's how you can find me. Type in Anna J. I'm on the Google. I'm on there. Just type it in. It'll pop up.
On the Google.
On the Google, yes.
Oh, well, thank you so, so very much. And we will see you guys later. Thank
All
you.
right, ladies, have a great day. Thank
You
you.
too.
All
Thank
right, bye.
you.